Why do people sabotage relationships they actually want? Why do some fears feel irrational, but impossible to control? And why do childhood experiences continue affecting people decades later? Imagine someone who constantly pushes people away whenever relationships become emotionally close, or someone who gets extremely angry over very small things without understanding why. Now here's the question that made psychology obsessed for decades. How much of your personality is controlled by unconscious thoughts you don't even realize exist? Today, we're diving into one of the most controversial and influential theories in psychology, psychoanalytic theory, created by Sigmund Freud. Freud believed that human behavior is deeply influenced by unconscious desires, fears, memories, and conflicts hidden beneath awareness. According to Freud, the human mind works like an iceberg. The conscious mind is the small, visible part, your current thoughts and awareness. But beneath the surface lies the unconscious mind, hidden emotions, traumas, impulses, and desires that secretly shape behavior. Freud believed personality develops through conflict between three parts of the mind: the id, the ego, and the superego. The id is primitive and impulsive. It wants pleasure immediately: food, desire, comfort, attention. The id says, "I want this now." The superego is the opposite. It represents morality, guilt, and social rules. The superego says, "This is wrong." And between them sits the ego, the realistic part trying to balance both. The ego says, "How do I satisfy needs without destroying my life?" For example, imagine someone insulted you publicly. Your id wants revenge immediately. Your superego says violence is unacceptable. Your ego tries to respond rationally. Freud believed most anxiety comes from these internal conflicts. He also introduced defense mechanisms, unconscious psychological strategies used to protect the mind from emotional pain. Some common defense mechanisms include repression, bearing painful memories; projection, accusing others of feelings you secretly have; denial, refusing to accept reality; displacement, taking anger out on safer targets. Example: someone angry at their boss comes home and snaps at family members instead. At work, people driven strongly by the ego may appear controlled and strategic. Highly impulsive, id-driven behavior may lead to risky decisions or addiction. An overly harsh superego may create guilt, perfectionism, or anxiety. In relationships, unconscious fears often shape attachment. Someone abandoned emotionally as a child may unconsciously fear intimacy as an adult. This is why psychoanalytic theory became revolutionary. It suggested that behavior often has hidden emotional roots. Freud also proposed psychosexual development stages, claiming childhood experiences shape adult personality. Although many of Freud's ideas are criticized today, modern psychology still uses many concepts inspired by psychoanalysis, especially regarding trauma, defense mechanisms, and unconscious behavior. So can unconscious patterns actually be changed? Yes, but awareness is the first step. Therapy often helps people recognize hidden emotional patterns they've repeated for years without realizing it. Sometimes people think they're reacting to the present when they're actually reacting to unresolved pain from the past. That's the power of unconscious psychology. The goal isn't blaming childhood for everything. It's understanding that unhealed experiences often continue shaping behavior until they're consciously addressed. What you ignore emotionally doesn't disappear. It often controls you quietly in the background.